with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are here for the Wednesday 8-game main slate, and I can tell by the number of you that are already in the chat, yours is excited about this slate as we are, as the NBA season continues to march towards its finale in the regular season that is here. Injury news aplenty, James. Some we expected, some we did not expect based off of our preview show this morning here. My guy, how you doing, my friend?
Well, John, it is currently 5:07 p.m. and as you can see here on the screen, I'm having a coffee. So that's how my day has gone. I don't know about you, but salute to you and salute, John, to the FA Nation.
There you go.
You guys
is that a big coffee cup, like a soup cup?
Oh yeah, this is a big coffee cup. There's a lot of coffee. Listen, you get like one kid, you have your first kid, okay?
Yeah.
And it's not like you get through it. Once kid number 2 happens and there's like a age gap between them, so now you have like toddler and newborn, right. You need the biggest possible coffee cup you can find.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So like you go to Dunkin'.
You're a hot coffee drinker. I'm a cold coffee drinker. So like there's...
Well, you need a big cup because you're wasting space in your cup anyway with all that pointless ice. So.
I still have my empty thermos here. So like from this morning, but like that thing keeps it cold all day if I wanted to. I could leave that coffee on my desk all day and it's just insulated. It's nice. Anyways, you guys are all here to hear not about coffee, but the NBA DFS main slate. And we appreciate you all in the chat. Coach Chris popping in already early, telling everybody to do exactly this. Hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. Free way to support us here on the channel. Really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. As many likes, I see how many people are currently in the chat. So there's really no reason we don't have at least that many likes right now. So please do us a favor, hit that like button. Really help us out here and boost what we got going on here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. I-40 Films asking for some value plays. We'll definitely get to those because there are a plenty of value plays on today's slate, notably in Toronto. Toronto's going to have quite a few value plays that you can play here today. OKC, probably a handful of value plays that you can throw into your lineup here this evening. So we'll certainly talk all about it. KT in the chat there as well. So we welcome you all in today. If you have any questions, follow suit. Throw your questions in the chat. We'll bring them up on screen. We'll talk about them. We'll answer them for you. And get you through the next hour or so. 7 p.m. roster lock for this 8 game main slate here. So many things going on at once here, James. I'm trying to pull up our totals, our spreads for the evening. Any thoughts for you here, sir?
My first thought is the latest NBA DFS rostership percentage updated over on fantasyalarm.com. You can head there and see all the Charlotte Hornets at the top of the list, if you would like. Another team you could also talk about value plays in. But, I mean, look, now more than ever, it's April. There's literally a game that could decide higher draft odds tonight in Portland, Charlotte, both top 5 right now in terms of worst teams in the league. There are teams that are still fighting for playoff positions. There are teams hoping to get out of the play-in, a lot of them. So, we've seen it a couple times. Like, there's guys that are being limited. There's teams that are tanking, obviously. So we just have to stay hip to all the news. There's a lot of it, I know, but hopefully we'll be able to take you to the end and walk you through everything you guys know.
Yeah, 100% here as we work our way. Just toss in the updated rostership projections in the chat here. So you can click on that if you're an All-Pro subscriber. You get access to that. If you're not an All-Pro subscriber, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go to fantasy.com/win. Right now, our annual subscription package is 40% off the month-to-month. So sign up for a year and get access to all of our content till this time next year. That includes all sports, including draft guides as well. So no reason not to become a member of the Fantasy Alarm family here today. The link is also in the description. You can click the link in the description of today's show to sign up and get taken right to the page for that one. Talking about odds and totals, Portland, Charlotte giving 1, a 212 total in that one. Lakers, Wizards getting 12.5, 236 total there. Detroit, Atlanta giving 12, 224.5 total. OKC, Boston giving 11, 229 total. Pacers, Nets getting 7.5 at home, 230.5 total there. Memphis, Milwaukee, Giannis by himself against Grizzlies. Milwaukee is giving 12, 217.5 total. Toronto, Minnesota giving 16, 214 total there. And then Orlando, New Orleans, Pelicans giving 4.5 at home, 207.5 total. We do not have the late night game, Cleveland, Phoenix on the main slate. So if you're playing the showdown tonight, you can throw some questions in the Discord. We'll answer you there for those. Officially, right now, Charlotte on cue. Miles Bridges out as we expected. Brandon Miller and Grant Williams available to play. We'll discuss those two plays and the rest of Charlotte right now. Let's talk about the point guard position. We have a question on DeJounte Murray from our guy CW. Anthony Edwards, or is it DeJounte Murray a better play? Looking at the top price guards tonight, DeJounte Murray, Tyrese Halliburton, $99 and $9,200. How are you mixing and matching these two guys into your lineup tonight?
So which do you want me to answer, the Murray versus Edwards
question?
Well,
we're talking about DeJounte as a whole, but if you're talking Murray versus Anthony, where are you, Edwards tonight? Where are you going?
It would be Murray for me. I'm just completely unsure what this Minnesota-Toronto game is going to look like because, yes, Emmanuel Quickley's playing. Yes, Gary Trent's playing. I'm not sure what else is playing for Toronto tonight. So those two guys can score the basketball. It's also very hard to score the basketball against Minnesota. So we will see. I prefer DeJounte. I do, of the top tier, prefer, of the two guys over 9K, I do prefer Tyrese Halliburton. I think we're starting to see a really good version of Halliburton lately. Not to say Murray hasn't been good, but you kind of saw the dip in production with Jalen Johnson back in the lineup. And that was a Jalen Johnson that didn't even start. And now we're going to likely see the ramp up for Jalen Johnson as the Hawks trend towards the play-in game. So play-in tournament, I should say. So I'm okay with DeJounte. I like him better than Edwards, but I do like Tyrese Halliburton better. 9,200, making threes again. 3 of the last 4 games over 37%. That's obviously something that he has struggled with mightily. 44% over his last 5 games overall. And when Tyrese Halliburton, we've kind of said it all year, like he's peripherally, he's fine, right? He separated himself a bunch earlier in the year when he had those 30, he had the 26-point quarter, it was, I believe. Like those are because he was making all of his threes. Like those games are when Tyrese Halliburton's at his best, and when we started getting the 59 fantasy points we got last time out against Brooklyn. We get the 60, 70 fantasy point ceilings out of Tyrese Halliburton. So when he's shooting this well, I think he's really hard to stop just offensively. Indiana in general is really hard to stop. They're clicking on all cylinders offensively right now. So of the 9K and up tier, I know there's only 2 names, but I would lean Halliburton over Murray.
For sure. When we go down below, we have Cade, who is questionable. Don't know if he's going to play or not. We have Quickley by himself at $8,400, knowing the rest of Toronto is basically already ruled out for tonight. McCollum at 8K, Cam Thomas, Derek White could be without Jaylen Brown tonight for Boston. D'Angelo Russell, 7,500, though both LeBron and AD are expected to play. When you're looking at the mid-tier range here, the 8 and 7K guys, who sticks out the most to you?
I mean, Cade, if he plays. And it's something that if you guys have watched us all season or at all lately, we crapped, and by we, I mean me, crapped on Cade's minutes for like weeks, right? Mostly because they were limited, but mostly because they were blowouts. There were some games, though. The Toronto game where he was just like, nah, Marcus Sasser, like you play the whole fourth. Like, I don't need to check back into this game. That was obviously frustrating. But the last 2 games, 1 win, 1 2-point loss that he actually had a chance to tie at the buzzer, 37 and 34 minutes. And John, 23, 33, 22 shots for Cade Cunningham the last 3 games. 58 and 57 fantasy points in the last 2. And I remember after the Minnesota game, you talked about, you're like, 2 assists and 1 rebound?
Right.
Like, that's so much of an anomaly. He had 32 actual in that game. So they don't have a back-to-back. I would expect him to sit either Friday or Saturday because that's a back-to-back set for Detroit.
Yeah.
No reason to think he doesn't play here. So if Cade's in, I have a lot of interest there. I don't know what to do with Emmanuel quickly. One of the more interesting plays of the slate, because I think this is a terrible spot for Toronto, but we've seen this story before, right? Terrible spot. Team probably shouldn't be competitive at all, but he's by himself. Like him and Gary Trent. No Barrett, no Olynyk, no Barnes, no everybody. And it's just Emmanuel quickly coming off 20 actual in his return and Gary Trent. So, like, I don't know. Like, I know in theory, terrible spot probably gets blown out, but we've seen also what Minnesota's looked like without Mike Conley before. Notably that Charlotte game that Towns had 60 in, and they still like let Charlotte just no business in this game come back and win. So, I don't know. 8,400 for Emmanuel quickly, I think, is fine. McCollum, tough spot, but also pretty. He's just a good fantasy player without Brandon Ingram. And then on Reeves. Cam Thomas will talk about it. Shooting guard. D'Angelo always has the ability to make 7 threes like he did yesterday.
Giddey?
And he did. And then you're flashing Josh Giddey on the screen. Oh, this is a tilter because what happens if they start big Jalen Williams again? And I don't think they would, because he's played the most minutes twice this year, Jalen Williams with a Y, both times against Joel Embiid, right? Sure. What is Jalen Williams doing tonight? Right? Is he guarding? Is that Porzingis? I guess
I was gonna say, if Jaylen Brown's out, they go double big, right?
They go double big, and there's no problem. Well, that obviously presents an issue for Giddey, apparently, because if Jalen Williams, now is that an anomaly that Jalen Williams had 12 assists yesterday? Yes, probably, right? But
yeah,
that obviously cut into Josh Giddey, no? So
yeah, a little bit. I mean, Giddey still got 28 minutes, which I think is good to see, right?
Yeah,
he didn't play 19, so there's that.
Yes, but he's now not. He has $7,200 now.
Sure.
If 28, I am not like, and I know he has a ceiling. Basically, whatever minutes he plays, because he does a lot. But if there's other guys on the floor doing those things, then that does cap him a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not playing Josh Giddey, but I'm also saying 7,200 in Boston, second leg of a back-to-back, and potential for the Thunder to go back to that same starting lineup that obviously just cut into his production from yesterday.
Right. Rashawn Holmes officially out. Johnny Davis officially out tonight for the Wizards. Who's playing center? Kyle Kuzma tonight at the
Five? No.
You think we're gonna get the
Vucevic
there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I do.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Could be a good spot for him, obviously. We saw the minutes out of him, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah, Brendan right there all over it. CW saying the Raptors don't have anybody. Yeah, they don't have anybody tonight. They're not playing, not going there at all. Where are we going for some value point guards tonight?
Value point guards. I do think Portland guys are worth mentioning. Charlotte, obviously, incredibly shorthanded. Delano Banton playing big minutes. Scoot Henderson playing big minutes. I'm not giving up hope on Scoot. Almost triple-doubled the other day. Almost also fouled out in that game. I'm not giving up hope on Scoot. Maybe who is Scoot Henderson going to foul in this game? I guess that's the question of the day, John.
Good point.
So Scoot at 68, I think, is really intriguing. If Cade doesn't play, Jaden Ivey, obviously, 61. Sure. Trey Mann, 55. I mean, dude. Was Bryce McGowan starting next to him? It's going to
be Miller, Grant Williams, and Trey Mann for sure.
And then TBD on the other two spots, right? Yeah. Basically until the retiree Steve Clifford, who's retiring at the end of the year.
He's moving up to the front office, though. So,
right. Okay, we got it. Wait, we got it. Right now, on the Bertans, JT Thor, or the other.
Okay. I'm not playing JT Thor, but I'll play some Bertans tonight.
I would play some Bertans for sure. 55. That's disrespectful. I cannot believe they're not starting Pokusevski. And they're starting JT Thor. That's
playing JT Thor over Poku.
That's a nightmare. Trey Mann 55, I think, is more than okay. McConnell in tournaments always, because McConnell is what he is. always. Jordan Goodwin, I mean, I don't think the rebounds are sustainable. We knew the scoring wasn't, but he does have 3 double-digit rebounding games in his last 5. Jared Butler had another good game yesterday. I do think they probably go to some Jared Butler tonight, just given how shorthanded Washington's going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to see Dyson Daniels play 37 minutes. And then we get to like the Monty Morris, Jordan McLaughlin tier, 3,400 for Monty Morris, 3,300 for Jordan McLaughlin. Like McLaughlin has kind of been the guy that they've elected to go to more over Monty Morris. Now I'm not totally sure either of them start because we've also seen
NAW
Nikhil Alexander Walker be their starting point guard at times, but maybe they want NAW to just be the backup wing because they can use him 1 through 3, and maybe they'll start McLaughlin or Monty Morris. But yeah, obviously there's interest in them if they're I would probably just play the starting point.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get that information sooner rather than later. Obviously, that's an 8:00 game, so maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't, but for sure one of those two. I lean McLaughlin as well, just because he's been the backup point guard for them here. So probably where I would end up finding myself going. Shooting guard.
Let me just throw this out there too, John. We don't have any clue what Milwaukee's going to do tonight because they're just so shorthanded. They called up Andre Jackson the other day. That was most likely because their G League season ended. But we could see Andre Jackson start. Not that like really moves the needle, but dude, they are really shorthanded on the second leg of a back-to-back, right?
Sure.
Like no Lillard, no Beverly, no Middleton. That's 3 of their top, 7?
Yeah, I mean, I just figured we'd get the starting lineup and we could just figure it out from there. It could be your guy Green. Like, you've been all over this dude, right? So
yeah.
So we'll get a lineup. We know for sure Giannis, right?
Giannis, Brook, Giannis and Brook. That's what we Giannis, Brook, Connaughton. That's probably the 3
we know who is playing. So OKC news, no SGA, no Jalen Williams tonight for the Thunder this evening here. Guys, appreciate you all in chat. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up button, it's a free way to support the show. Like the channel, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We do a live NBA show every day at 5:00. We do a live MLB show every day at 4. So you're never missing out on your DFS action right now. Edwards 94, we discussed him or DeJounte. You said you liked DeJounte over Edwards if you were picking a guard between the two. It kind of jumps down into price point, and a lot of guys with dual positional eligibility here, but we've been playing a lot of Cam Thomas lately. $7,700 here. Another spot against Indiana. They did not obviously play well against them the last time. They lost by 22. Now they're home. Maybe a bounce back spot and a big pace up spot for Cam Thomas here.
Yeah, tough spot. Second leg of a back-to-back. He was in foul trouble in that game early. 2 first quarter fouls, 3 in the first half. Could never get it going, him or as a team. So I like Cam Thomas quite a bit, $7,700. I know the price is obviously higher than it's been, but you look at the 3 games prior to the second leg of a back-to-back there, 30 actual, 28 actual, 38 actual, 55, 48, 44 fantasy points. He is a walking bucket getter.
Yeah, great. We're at the shooting guard position. Don's got a question. Do we look for points or rebounds? We're looking for points from shooting guards, but there are plenty of guards here that do them all, right? I mean, Josh Giddey's a guy that gets rebounds and he gets points scored. We've talked Derek White's a guy that fills up the stat sheet here. We've seen Banton. We've seen Murphy get rebounds this season. So there's plenty of guys that score and get rebounds on this at the shooting guard position. Justin wants to know who's in the front court for Toronto. Who's playing for Toronto today outside of Emmanuel Quickly? We'll find that one out as well. Gary Trent, obviously someone will lock in. Grady Dick probably. Jordan Nwora, maybe Jalen McDaniels gets a look. Like, I don't know. We'll talk about power forward and center and small forward in a moment here as we kind of work our way through shooting guard. Where else are we looking at shooting guard tonight? Malik Beasley's got to be a core play, right? Like $5,300, no Lillard, no Middleton.
I mean, I'll circle back up. The only name you didn't mention in the 7K tier was Jordan Poole. I know Kyle Kuzma's back,
Yeah.
But Jordan Poole's been pretty good of late, and they're just simply shorthanded, and they're playing Jordan Poole big minutes regardless. So 45 fantasy points again. 3 of his last 4, he's gone over 40. I think the price tag is too low for the matchup. Lakers bottom 5 defense in the league since the All-Star break. So I like Jordan Poole in that mix as well. Also, Brandon Miller, 6,800, is probably one of the first players I'm going to plug tonight, just given we've gotten 40 minutes back-to-back nights. There's no Miles Bridges. The lineup that they're running tonight is centered around Brandon Miller taking as many shots as he possibly take. So I do think Brandon Miller is a core play. Really good eligibility, under $7,000, 40 plus minutes on the table. And I mean 40 plus. Like I think that there's a legitimate chance he plays as much as he possibly can. Like, granted that he stays out of foul trouble. That's both rookies in this game.
He will lead the team in shot attempts tonight.
Yes, he will. He will lead the team.
Shot attempts.
Yes. So I think Brandon Miller, amongst all the other names, is as much of a core play as anyone. Beasley, I'm not as quick to get to Beasley on the second leg of a back-to-back. I get it. He's also 5,300. I think that there's I'd rather play Kennard at 52, not coming off a back-to-back. Grady Dick could be an option here, $5,000, still playing pretty good minutes, and there's obviously just a boatload of minutes to go around. Isaiah Joe, $4,400. He was great last night off the bench. 11 3-point attempts. You can never predict a Mark Daigneault rotation. It's really, really hard. But the way
second leg of a back-to-back in Boston isn't my favorite spot, but he is cheap. So
and that's why I would probably rather take a shot on Joe Wiggins than I would someone like Giddey or Holmgren, right? Because they could get us there in a blowout where Giddey and Holmgren, they cannot afford a blowout, right? They're not going to get us there. So every time SGA's been out, the last 3 games, 28, 22, 33 minutes. So there's been 22 to 33 minutes on the table for Isaiah Joe. NAW, $4,000 here.
Yeah,
John.
Brendan's got a question here on NAW. NAW Murray, Scoot, Cam Thomas, or Poole Banton if you had to pick a pair.
Scoot, Cam Thomas. That would be my pick there.
I'd probably go there as well.
Yeah, I think that has the highest ceiling.
Yeah, barring anybody else being ruled out from Minnesota for sure.
Right. Which isn't on the table yet, but there's always late reporting considering it's 8. Just keep going. We got a Lonnie Walker question here.
They have some guys coming back tonight, so I don't know if he gets the 20 minutes. And even then, he only got 20 minutes there, so probably not
in a blowout.
Yeah, and there's other value tonight, Chris, that I don't think we need to be touching any Lonnie Walker on this one. Any other values for you, shooting guard?
I do think Connaughton starts, whether you think that matters or not. And repair for
yeah. I think all Milwaukee starters are going to be in play with no Middleton and no Lillard on the floor,
and no Beverly, who has played 30 minutes in Steeds where Lillard hasn't, right? So
and it's Memphis, right? It's not a tough matchup for them. They're home and it's against Memphis, so these guys will all get some good opportunities here to be productive. So I like that for sure. Small forward position, again, dual position eligibility for a lot of these plays. LeBron, Tatum, Edwards, Siakam, Jaylen Brown, Bridges is out. Denny at 78, I think, is super appealing tonight. We've been playing a lot of Denny as it is. What are your thoughts when it comes to this top half of small forward this evening?
Top half of small forward, we expect LeBron to play. He is questionable. I know Darvin said that he was expected to play, but LeBron then said, I'll see how I feel in the morning. So we'll obviously see how he feels. I'm sure he's reading his podcast comments to see how he feels about him and JJ Redick's pod and being I think I can go tonight. It seems like it's been a success. Salute to them. I don't know who thought of that idea, but great idea for definitely can get to Tatum if you think that game's competitive. Even if it's not, you're gonna get
if there's no Jaylen Brown, right? There's the chance he goes for 60 fantasy
70,
points.
60, 70, 60, 50 actual. Edwards, we talked about. Siakam, I think, is fine. Obviously, last game, well over a fantasy point per minute. They didn't need him to be anything more than he was. He's okay. Jaylen Brown's fine if he plays. Denny, I'm good with Denny. Obviously, yesterday, no Kuzma. That was better.
Yeah.
I'm not against getting to Denny Avdia here, but I don't think it's as much of a smash play because, like, he went from definite second option to now definite third option, right? With Poole and Kuzma on the floor. Like,
Sure, but there's still a lot of shots to be had there against the Lakers. They don't have any big. I mean, they obviously have the one we'll talk about, but I mean, like, I think there's plenty of opportunity here for Denny to be productive. He's had big games, even while only taking 10 shots, 12 shots. You know, is he going to be a 20 shot guy tonight? Probably not, but he does enough of everything else, I think, to still be in play on this. The minutes are going to be there. 38, 39 minutes. You can lock him in, I think.
yeah, I think he's. I'm not saying he's not in play. I just like look at. I could play Brandon Miller here at 68 or Trey Murphy.
I mean, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of dual positional eligibility that kind of helps you kind of move it about here. Demetrius, again, we talked about Beasley. I like Beasley. Grande likes him a little bit less than some of the other guys at that price range, but he's certainly in play tonight. Again, no Lillard, no Middleton. It's a lot of shots and usage that has to be moved about. And for better or for worse, on a back-to-back, he's going to take like 10 threes. Now, if he hits them, he scores. If he doesn't, he won't. So
Jaylen Brown in.
Jaylen Brown in. All right. Well, I probably downgrade Tatum there. I don't know. Yeah. Full strength Boston Celtics at home against the Thunder team on a back-to-back without
their top players.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the Celtics not care and lose those games before, so we'll see what happens, I guess. You've been the one that says it. You don't talk about blowouts anymore. You don't think they?
I know.
All right, other guys in this range: Bogdan, Franz, Trey Murphy, Gigi, Kispert at 59. Like, what are you thinking?
I am thinking that we go to the value.
going to the value, then we go. All right, where are we going?
I just don't think like that tier is fine. I just don't think there's like a particular play that I'm like honing in on. We talked about Isaiah Joe. Chris Murray, 46, is going to play 30 minutes, but like low floor. Aaron Wiggins was amazing yesterday, 32 minutes. He played the most minutes out of anyone. Obviously, 4 blocks and steals aided his production, but we've talked all year about his 3-point shooting, and he only took 2 and still went for 30 fantasy points. Like, if they run the same starting lineup, which is not a guarantee, because we thought Gordon Hayward was a lock for yesterday.
Right.
That was not the case. Gordon Hayward didn't even sniff 20 minutes. So I would consider Wiggins for sure at $4,000.
We got a starting Davis though, so
yeah, Bertans at 36 is for sure a great play. I mean, he's just a bucket getter, and like what realistically, like this is 30 minutes for Bertans, right? So
and these minutes that he got when he was being, scoring 25, 28 fantasy points was with, Bridges and those guys in the lineup. They're down a lot of those men. It's gonna be a lot of Brandon Miller tonight, but then like who's taking the other shots? Grant Williams will take shots, I guess, right? Man will take some shots, but I mean Davis is gonna be sitting out there to take 10 threes tonight. So 30, and you're getting him under 4K. You're looking for a value play starting. Why not? It's definitely. I saw somebody earlier. This is a stars and scrubs night tonight. You're going to be playing a bunch of 4K and sub 4K plays, and you're going to jam in Giannis plus somebody for sure.
Plus some center in Portland.
Yeah. Is that where you're going to your center spot tonight? Going to go.
We'll talk about it. There's a lot of. I mean, there's no shortage of value centers tonight, and we'll talk about that too.
What I was going to say is this morning we were all in on the underrated, but now
don't spoil it, dude. I mean, what are we doing?
Like, it was the cover of the pre-show. There's no spoiling.
Wait, I had someone else. Hold on. Let me think. No, I didn't have anyone else.
Alrighty.
Yes, I did. No, I didn't. We can go to power forward.
All right, power forward.
No, wait. No, we're good. Sorry, we're good. That was it. Sorry.
Who are you playing at power forward tonight? What's your top outside of Giannis? Because there's no reason to explain the reasoning to play Giannis here. Where are you going?
I don't really want to play anyone else.
I mean, I feel you. I don't. Again, he was my number one plug once everybody got ruled out tonight. So just for those who are curious on the season this year, when there's no Middleton and no Lillard on the floor, the numbers for Giannis they're okay. They're what you would probably expect your star player to be when the other star players are not on the floor. 1.5 fantasy points per minute, 35% usage rate. So
I'm honestly shocked that that's 1.5.
You thought it was gonna be like 1.9?
I did.
1.7?
I did. Yep.
Bobby Poe 1.14. Only other guy above 1.
Shout out Bobby Poe.
27% usage rate.
That's probably why Giannis is getting nearly 40% ownership, and the rest of the team is getting 40% ownership combined. Because it's going to be
probably everybody's asking who the point guard for the Bucks is going to be tonight. It's probably Giannis.
It's the largest individual on the floor. Yes. Yep. So like outside of Giannis, like you can obviously play the Lakers guys. AD had kind of an unfortunate night last night. Foul trouble early, blowout late. Didn't need him, right? Especially on a back-to-back. Like, why when D'Angelo Russell's making every shot? Same thing could be said for LeBron. Kind of an unfortunate night. 1 assist shy of a double-double. Zion, Paolo have really tough spots. We just saw this matchup not too long ago. Paolo triple-doubled in this game, and they played the song. It was great. It was fun. It was the Magic's best win of the year. I don't think we need to go there. I do have some interest in Kuzma at 83. I mean, I know that we're getting rest games, but in between the rest games, he's playing big minutes. The Detroit game was terrible, right? 5 of 22 from the floor.
It was an unfortunate game for us that played this one. We're like, oh, Detroit, Washington, like this is going to be fun. It wasn't fun. It was not a fun game. No.
I think I said that was the League Pass game of the night or something.
Yeah, you did. You went out on a limb and you're like, these two teams are so bad, but they're playing for the number 1 pick. And it's like, yeah, they did. They played for the number 1 pick.
They sure did.
Got 180 total points in that game.
They sure did.
I agree with you. You get Kuzma obviously going up against the Lakers here. He's been nails for like 90% of the year. So perfectly fine going to them. I do like Porzingis still. In this spot at $7,900. Jalen Johnson, if he starts, I would have definite interest at $7K. If he's off the bench, I worry that he's limited still. So that's kind of where I'm at with him.
Agreed.
Other mid-tier options for you. We'd mentioned the Bobby Portis numbers with those guys off the floor. Nas Reed is there at 67 against who the hell knows in Toronto's front court tonight. You got Gigi, Herb Jones, Horford off the bench. Like where are you going when it comes to the mid-tier power forward plays?
The mid-tier is another, like, I think this is just a value spot. Like you can get to Nas. Yeah, like you can get to Nas, you can get to GG, you can get to Aldama. They're all fine in tournaments. Herb Jones, we know, is going to guard Franz / Paolo. And, until he fouls out, he'll be the best defender on the floor at all times. But, like, yeah, I mean, Jabari Walker, 49. Should play big minutes. That's, I think, a really good spot. We talked about how much we liked Portland on the pre-show this morning, and that's not a good feeling. Here's my game of the night tonight, John. Portland, Charlotte. Game of the night, Portland, Charlotte. The 4th.
Jeremy Grant officially ruled out on cue.
Yeah, And
Nico here. Jabari with the Thor matchup. Sign me up.
Yeah, Jabari 4,900. I mean, regardless of matchup, he's going to play so many minutes. The Grant Williams call that you just gave, 5,100. I mean, 5,100 is not great. 16 shots is great. 35 fantasy points is great. And now 28 plus fantasy points in 4 straight games for Grant.
And
Williams.
he's feeling himself, right?
Yeah,
this is a guy that he thinks he is way better than he is. And then you get back-to-back games of 8 for 10, 10 of 16, including 10 of 16 against Boston, the team that let him walk. Like, oh, he's going to go out there against Portland tonight thinking he's, that he's Miles Bridges, that he's going to go out there and have a day. So,
dude, the schedule in general is hilarious for Grant these last 5 games. Boston, Clippers, Warriors, Cavs. And he scored double figures in all 5 of them. So, I know the Boston game for sure, but
this is also true. Aiden's going to have a field day. We'll talk about center here in a moment.
Why? Grant Williams is like 7'4" on stilts.
Grant Williams, he's small. Is that what you're getting? He's saying he's
on stilts, he's like 7'4".
Small guy, yeah. I will say this though, Grant Williams is not a terrible defender.
No, he's a good defender.
Celtics fan, like he's okay. He can hold his spot. He just gives up a lot of size. His game is get you aggravated and make mistakes that way. Trendon Watford was someone that we have talked a lot about here. Now we have Cam Johnson back. Like, are you buying into the Trendon Watford minutes? Still $4,400.
I just don't think it's needed on tonight's slate. Just like with what we have going on, like for $100 more, Jordan Nwora exists, and Jordan Nwora has played 30 and 26 minutes. I know he was bad yesterday, but the minutes, if Jordan Nwora anytime is going to get these types of minutes with like shorthanded teams, I mean, he's live to take 18 shots, right? So 4,500 for Jordan Nwora. We talked about Jabari Walker. We talked about Grant Williams. I'm interested to see what the Pokusevski ownership turns out to be now that we saw JT Thor starting, because like that ownership is reflective of Pokusevski starting, right? Like undoubtedly that's Pokusevski starting.
Yeah.
JT Thor, John, has played 20 minutes. I mean, like 10 times in 57 games this year. Like, what does JT Thor's minutes actually get to tonight versus Pokusevski? Like,
I don't know. At this point, I don't think you can play either of them, though.
You probably have to take a step back from 40% Pokusevski.
Again, just play Davis at 36.
I agree, but also,
I think that's where that ownership goes, honestly. I think everybody just pivots and saves money from Poku to Davis Bertans tonight.
Well, Bertans was also 30% rostered to begin with. So, like, I don't disagree, but I think people were just playing them both just given how shorthanded Charlotte was. And the expectation is, well, I don't think the expectation was JT Thor was in the equation. Like, it was whether it was Bertans or Poku starting, one of them was starting, one of them was playing high 20s minutes off the bench. If you had to guess Pokusevski's minutes tonight with JT Thor starting, what would you say?
Honestly, I can't even tell you. 20. I probably don't put him more than 25.
Okay. I'm a little hesitant to say that JT Thor is extended in like almost any capacity, but there's a chance, right?
There's no idea. The coach quit today, so like who knows?
So not a bad point. He certainly did.
The coach isn't going to be the coach much longer. All right, let's go to center here. I know this is a position that many people have. Sean Grant nicknamed himself Batman. It's true. It's true.
I mean, if you nickname
Sean knows what he's talking about there,
dude. If you nickname yourself Batman, check yourself into.
Well, he's also a huge like comic book nerd guy. Okay. So
okay, but does that give you the right to
nickname yourself? No, and I think he actually took trash for that as well for giving himself nicknames.
Yeah, he should.
All right, center spot, because there's a lot to break down here. Because there's a lot of value.
There is a lot of
value. There's also like someone like DeAndre Ayton, which we thought this morning was probably our number one plug at the center position. Have you moved off of Ayton at all, knowing what is now opened up at the position for us here?
Okay.
Can't find our guy's price tag. Where is he at? 3K.
Yeah, so Tristan Vukcevic is the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Like he obviously doesn't have the easiest matchup in the world, right?
Does not.
Going up. Also didn't have the easiest matchup in the world yesterday. And kind of showed 4 fouls in 31 minutes when he was the backup center to start the game, right? Likely starts here unless they decide to go Kuzma at the 5, which I think is death sentence. So I assume they go Vukcevic at the 5. He's definitely interesting. Mohamed Gay, that's the correct pronunciation. It's spelled Gueye, is the likely starter for Toronto tonight. Just given, again, the shorthanded nature of what they have, is getting a lot of ownership. And so I think, and like the ownership that we have is still reflective of Rashawn Holmes being in. So it'll be really interesting to see how that's divvied up between Gay and between Vucevic, because they're both in salary. One of them faces Anthony Davis. One of them faces Rudy Gobert. One of them does not have another center on the roster in Toronto. But he has not shown a very, he's not the worst fantasy point per minute guy, but also has shown basically little to nothing of an upside. Has he had the opportunity? No. Does it matter? No, because he might have 35 to 40 minute appeal tonight. In the G League, John, he averaged 14, 9, and 2.5 blocks.
Sure.
Right? So that's the G League. And that's 14-9 is not anything to write home about in the G League, but it's solid. I think there's a case to play both, but obviously then you're not playing DeAndre Ayton.
Sure.
That's something you have to consider. But if you wanted to do a double spend like Giannis Davis or Giannis LeBron or Giannis Halliburton or Giannis Halliburton third spend up, Cade, if Cade plays, right? Well, then doing the double punt center up thing might play out pretty well in your favor. I still love DeAndre Ayton regardless of the value. Dude, it is an undersized Grant Williams.
Sure.
And although at any point DeAndre Ayton's minutes can be pulled out from under him, 36 minutes, 20, 12, and 3 the last time out against Orlando. So
no, I have no problem going against Ayton here. So or going with Ayton here, rather. I think it all depends just on where you wanted to spend. Now, this is a slate that doesn't have a ton of spend ups. We're plugging in Giannis, right? So there's Giannis. If you wanted to play, you had to play a value center, I would imagine, right? They're $3K. Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I'm asking you, right? I think.
Yeah. Do you go Gay or do you go?
I go with the guy I've seen actually have success at the NBA level. Granted, it's a 2-game sample size, but he's looked good in both those games that he's played, and he has success over in the Euro League. So go there, plug in Bertans at 36 at small forward. You liked DeJounte Murray, happy to plug that in.
I would prefer, if we went at point, I would prefer Halliburton at first minute.
Okay, Halliburton, fine to go with Halliburton, $5,600 here.
Brandon Miller.
Yeah, Brandon Miller at 68, 5,200. You mentioned we can go double values. I mean, we have both centers here. Dennis Smith Jr. just ruled out for the Nets. We'll see if anybody else gets ruled out here for Brooklyn in a moment. 5,200. Where's Man at? Where's Man?
55.
Man, 55. I don't see why we wouldn't go with more Charlotte, I guess.
Well, I'm thinking we're short on Portland conversely on the other side of that game. Scoot or Banton or Jabari Walker, because you could play Gay here at 3K, and then we'll have a lot of money to potentially go from Man to Scoot or Man to Banton.
Okay, that's fine with me. I'm fine going. We talked about going the double
GU
77. I think this is the line that our guy Chris might have just played, because he's got 77 on the dot and doesn't want to play Cam Thomas.
Why don't you want to play Cam Thomas? Because one bad game. I mean, Indiana's a bottom 5 defense in the NBA. I don't dislike Rudy Gay or there. Yeah.
Halliburton, Miller, Bertans, Giannis, Vucevic, Thomas, Walker, and Gay. $0 left over.
Yeah.
Do you think Rudy's a good fit? I don't know. He's fine. He's going to dominate, but is he going to score enough? That's my worry. He'll get all the defensive stats. He'll get all the rebounds.
I don't know. I just don't know how many minutes is Rudy go? If that game stays competitive, he plays full minutes, right?
Just play Ayton for $100 cheaper if that's where you're at.
Yep.
Got any pivots you make on this lineup? You like it? You content?
Yeah.
All right. Guys, example lineup for y'all. Dylan Clemens has your playbook. It's out. It'll be updated We'll get the new updated rostership as soon as it gets updated by the provider. We'll put that out on site. Just refresh now. Still hasn't come through. Roster lock at 7 o'clock Eastern time. You know, James and I are here every day at 5 p.m. Eastern time to get you guys through. The next week, obviously, because NBA comes out. Who's the center? Is that your question there? Our center is Tristan Vukcevic of the Washington Wizards at $3,000. That's where we're at. We're plugging.
And Mohammed Gay. Also, we're double punting.
Double centering. Say the Wizards lineup comes out and Vukcevic is not starting.
I mean, also we didn't even mention Jalen Williams of the. Not that he's confirmed starting now that Jalen's in, but like if he does start, there's another guy that.
Nico wants to know about the Hayward revenge game.
Too unpredictable. OKC's rotation just too unpredictable.
And then CW wants to know about the center situation in Indiana here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if Turner sits, I mean, we'll see what they do. I'd assume it's Jalen Smith starting, but his fantasy point per minute upside is crazy. So is Isaiah Jackson's at 4,200. So
agreed.
If there's no Turner, you could definitely get to one of the Pacers.
So that's it, everybody, for tonight's show. Like I said, we're here every day, 5 p.m. Eastern time. We do an MLB show every day at 4 p.m. Eastern. So hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a live show. James and I do the pre-show available to you tonight. Will be available in the morning. Get you guys ready for Thursday's slate. Till then, everybody, good luck with your lineups. Catch us on the Discord. We'll catch you later.